Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Welcome to another episode of MLB Hot Takes. Could the Tigers make the playoffs this year? Could the Mets actually miss the playoffs this year? My goodness. Is Juan Soto actually overrated? We're going to talk some news and notes throughout Major League Baseball. We're going to talk some hot takes. Let's get to it. Good evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Hello. Who do we got here in the chat? We got Uncle Ted. How you doing? We got Sarah Gomez. We got Nicholas, one of our moderators. How you doing, my friend? Gustavo, how you doing? NASCAR, Justin Kent. What's going on? We got Wolfpack. We got Ballin' with AC. How you doing? Miles England. How you doing, my friend? Hello. Willard Wright. How's it going, my friend? Hello. Zach G, another moderator in the chat. What's going on, my friend? How you doing? Robert is here. We got Nick Master. How you doing? Hello. How you doing, everyone? Good evening. Hope everyone's having a good week. Hope everyone's ready for Friday tomorrow. We got the weekend coming up. And, hey, I mean, my Red Sox aren't playing today, so a little boring for me. But we got some baseball going on. We got some hot takes to talk about tonight. And we got a few pretty decent ones, enough to sink my teeth into and, really give my thoughts. We're going to go over, we got the Marlins calling up Yuri Perez. I'm excited about that. We got some injury news to talk about. Mookie Betts is afraid of ghosts. We're going to talk about that as well. Everyone, before I do get started, if you can, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the like button for me, everyone. Everyone, if you can, seriously, hit the crap out of that like button right now for me. That's going to help YouTube shoot this stream out into the algorithm. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time I go live or upload a video. And share the stream if you can. Tonight's sponsor is Sorare MLB. My favorite way to play fantasy baseball right now. Stay tuned. About halfway through the show, I'm going to go over my lineups for the upcoming tournament this weekend, as well as one other thing I want to talk about with Sorare MLB. I think you might be pretty interested in it. I think you want to maybe stay tuned for that. And also sponsoring tonight's show, we have BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs, whether that's Major League Baseball. We got basketball. We got the playoffs going on right now. Speaking of playoffs, we got hockey going on right now as well. Whether that's UFC, golf, whatever else, BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Go check it out. Use the code BLEAV, BLEAV, and you get a 50% welcome bonus. And also, don't forget, everyone, we are partners here with SeatGeek. Use my code Hyde. You get $20 off. So I know a lot of you are looking to go to a game this year, so you might as well just use my code. Go see if you can find yourself a good deal on SeatGeek. All right, everyone, let's get to it here. Not going to be here too long tonight. I'm just going to run through a few hot takes. Going to go over some news and notes. And, hey, we got the Mets losing once again today to the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know, man. These Mets, they are just sleepwalking right now, man. I don't know what is going on with the New York Mets. They got to get it together, man. They got to get it together. We got the Rays, who just won their game against the Yankees. And I don't know, man. Hey, give it to the Orioles, though. Give it to the Orioles. Winning that. The Rays aren't really losing a whole bunch this year. That's only the third series that they've lost all year. They lost one series. Who was it? I believe the Astros. I believe. And then who was the other series they lost to? I can't remember. I'm going blank. But give credit to the Orioles, man. I mean, the Orioles, I've already mentioned this like a million times. They're just a pesky team, man. They're always tough. They're always going to be a tough matchup for anyone that in that AL East. Red Sox, Yankees. I mean, my goodness. It's just Baltimore Orioles, man. They're good this year. But let me get the music started here really quick, and then we're going to dive into some news, and then we will go over the Sorare MLB partnership, and we'll take a look at what my team is looking like for this coming weekend, and then we'll dive into the few hot takes, so stay tuned for that. Here we go, everyone. Here we go. Alrighty, so let's just get to it here. All right, music is ready. Here we go. So, like I said, game just went final for tonight. The Rays winning it easily here, 8-2. Hey, first team to get to 30 wins on the year. The Rays, what else is there to say? I mean, you know, they just keep winning. They just keep winning. Going to Yankee Stadium, winning this one. And, hey, what can you do? What can you do? But we do have some other finals here today. The Royals, they won on a walk-off bunt of all things. The Mets, they just went to Cincinnati today. They didn't even show up. They might as well have just stayed home. The Twins getting the win today against the Padres. We got the Rangers and the A's right now. We got the Giants and the Diamondbacks going on as well. A pretty quiet day in Major League Baseball. Not a whole lot going on, but tomorrow, action really picks back up again. So let's go over some news and notes. So real quick, I just want to go over some injury news. And I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I had mentioned this the other day, and I think I completely missed it. I don't know what the heck. You guys know my potato brain. But Luis Garcia with the Astros getting Tommy John. I thought I mentioned this the other day. And this is a big blow. Wow, that's a tough loss to the Astros, man. You know, in my opinion, they're a good team. I mean, a very good team. I think we can all agree on that. But now they're really going to have to do some damage control here. I would imagine they're going to try and make some kind of a trade at the deadline to acquire a starting pitcher. Could someone like a Lucas Giolito be a possibility for the Astros if the White Sox are completely out of it? I don't see why not. I could see the Astros maybe doing something like that unless they are comfortable. You know, don't forget, you will have, you know, McCullers Jr., I would imagine, is going to come back at some point. You got Jose Urquidy there. But, man, if you really want to bolster the rotation, I would think you'd maybe acquire a pretty solid guy like Lucas Giolito. I feel like that would be a really solid pickup for them. But Lance McCullers Jr., just a couple of days ago, he did throw a bullpen, so it looks like he is on his way to making a rehab assignment. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. You know, the rotation as of right now, it's fine. You know, you got here we go. You still got Framber Valdez. You still got Javier. Hunter Brown has been very good this year so far. You know, JP France, he's looked pretty decent lately. You know, but I would imagine, you know, you can never count on Lance McCullers Jr., in my personal opinion, just because of the health. You know, Jose Urquidy, he's a back-end guy at this point. So, hey, look out for the Astros. I could see them being on the market to acquire a starting pitcher. So, we'll just have to look out for that. Taking a look also, Tyler Glasnow. He actually started a rehab assignment yesterday, and he was removed from that rehab assignment. We're talking about the Rays here, and we've seen how good they are this year, and that's without Tyler Glasnow. So left his start yesterday, was getting some tightness on the left side. You know, this is a guy that's been dealing with the oblique, so I'm not sure. They're saying it was more precautionary. It was just a little bit of tightness, very mild, and they just said they didn't even want to push it, so they just took him out. The point here with Tyler Glasnow is he is just so injury prone. Like, I don't know. He's just having a tough time getting back to the field or just staying on the field as well. So that's something to keep an eye on as well with Tyler Glasnow. So I don't know. Are we really, what can you really expect out of him at this point? I'm not trying to jump to conclusions. You know, I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but I mean, come on. Like, this guy, he just can't stay on the field, and he's having trouble getting back to the major leagues. So keep an eye out for that. We do have Corey Seager. He's going to be beginning a rehab assignment as well. He's been dealing with the hamstring issue lately, so he should be back before you know it. And that Rangers team, that lineup has been just so good, even without Corey Seager. That's just crazy to me. But let's talk about some call-ups here. Oh, actually, really quick, I just want to give an update on Max Scherzer. So it's looking like the neck is improving. So the Mets really need it at this point. We're going to talk about the Mets in just a little bit. But Buck Showalter said that he threw from 90 feet. He's improving each day. So, Scherzer, this is pretty normal with him. He's always going through something injury-wise. The guy, over the last few years, he's just dealing with just so many nagging injuries. So, nothing new with him. It's always something, whether it's his back or his neck or even the shoulder. It's always something with him. I feel like he's going to get himself smoothed out once he kind of just gets back into that rhythm. I think he'll be okay. We got a super chat coming in. Ozzy, how you doing, my friend? $1.99 super chat. Thoughts on the Dodgers? Rocky's playing awesome. Listen, I think the Dodgers, they shot up really high on my power rankings this past Sunday. Stay tuned for this Sunday. We have another episode of power rankings, but hey, the Dodgers are looking really solid. I mean, there's not really much else to say. The lineup is really starting to click. James Outman and Muncy, they were just carrying that lineup, and now Betts and Freeman are really starting to heat up now. Well, Mookie Betts, he's afraid of ghosts now. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But hey, the pitching, Dustin May, he's been pretty solid this year. Kershaw is just fantastic this year. I think the Dodgers, I came into this season thinking, hey, until the Dodgers lose that division, I'm not picking against the Dodgers in that West. So I was never really worried about the Dodgers at all. But yeah, no, they're having, oh, you wrote rookies. I think I said Rockies by accident. Rookies are playing awesome. Yeah. I mean, they're really having a lot of guys step up. James Outman was my rookie of the year pick. So that's looking pretty good right now. But thank you for the super chat, Ozzy. Do really appreciate that, my friend. But what else we got here? What else we got? So let's get to Yuri Perez. Yuri Perez, one of the top prospects in the game, will be getting the call to Miami. We were reading stuff last year that he may have even been a call-up last year, and now it's looking like he's finally going to be getting the call. So he's going to get the start tomorrow. That's pretty exciting. Yuri Perez, man, this is a guy, first off, the guy's extremely tall. I think he's, like 6'8", 6'7", something like that. It's going to be fun. And, the Marlins starting pitching, it's really solid. And now you're adding just another young arm here who has all the potential in the world. Overall, on Fangraphs, he is the number 4 prospect, and he's easily the number 1 prospect for the Marlins. Now, if we go take a look here, he has been the number 1 prospect for them over the last couple of years. So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but really what it comes down to is this guy has ace potential for a rotation. You got a fastball at 70, a curveball of 60, slider at 60, changeup at 60, control at 65. It's just nasty. So, yeah, he's 6'8". The guy's massive. I would be just, if I was a hitter and I'm like going up against this guy, I'm thinking like, what the heck? This guy's an alien, man. It's like, it's freaking O'Neal Cruz on the mound, basically. So I'll read the scouting report really quick on Yuri Perez. His allure is simple. He combines a powerful 4-pitch mix with athleticism and command that ranks as exceptional for anyone, but jumps off the page for someone of his size. His added strength has amplified his repertoire, which begins with a fastball that sits in the mid-90s, touches triple digits. Perez's excellent body control helps him command his fastball better than would be expected for someone his size. Now, when it comes to, again, the size, usually guys that are, this tall, they got the longer limbs, so it's a little harder for them to really dial in their mechanics at times. But with him, that's not an issue with him. He worked hard to command the top of the strike zone last year and elevate his fastball for swings and misses. In 2021, 2 years ago, Perez employed a curveball and a changeup. His changeup is his best off-speed pitch and grades as the best in the system, with outstanding fade and sink away from left-handed hitters. Last year, he added a slider to give his arsenal a more powerful breaking pitch that would also serve as an effective weapon against right-handers. The mid-80s pitch grades as a potential plus offering. Perez's spike curveball is a two-plane breaker that serves as an effective strike stealer early in counts and grades at least above average, though some evaluators have it a tick higher. So pretty much all there is to say is this guy has the potential through the roof. So dude's got the body, he's got the stuff, he's got the control, he's got the mechanics. I mean, everyone, I think you should really tune in to tomorrow's game against the Reds. So, hey, this is gonna be good TV here. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely gonna tune in for this one. One of the top prospects in the game. You know, every time we get a good pitching prospect on the mound, I always want to see it. You know, we had Grayson Rodriguez make his debut this year. To me, that's just must-watch TV. You know, so keep an eye out for that. Marlins fans, I know you're excited about that. Also, we did talk about Luis Garcia a little bit earlier, getting Tommy John. Tyler Mahle, this was a guy that the Twins traded for last year. Really liked the pickup, and now he's going to be needing Tommy John as well. So that's another blow for the Twins rotation here. They've been dealing with some injuries a little bit this year, but the rotation overall is still very strong. You know, Lopez, Gray, and Ryan, these three have just been amazing. Ober has come up recently, and he has done well. So overall, also, Royce Lewis is going to be going on a rehab assignment as well. Remember last year he tore his ACL. And, hey, Royce Lewis was really good for the Twins last year when he had that small sample size, and he went back, and then he got hurt. So Royce Lewis, man, hey, look out. I'm excited for him to come back. But I think the Twins, this is good that they added Pablo Lopez in the offseason because, you know, without him, you know, you'd have Ober, you'd have Gray, you'd have Ryan, but Lopez really just adds just that much, just really good. And I don't want to say depth because he's obviously not a depth piece, but just without him, he's anchoring that rotation pretty much. Obviously, Ryan has been doing really well. Gray, his ERA is like nothing, basically. But, you know, when you're having these guys go down, like Mahle, you know, Maeda, he's been missing time, you know. So, hey, honestly, this pickup of Lopez has really been huge for the Twins. Hey, they're playing good baseball, and got to like what they're doing. So, what else we got here? What else we got? Let's talk about Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts. This is a funny story here. He opted for an Airbnb over a hotel in Milwaukee. So the story with this hotel, what is this hotel called again? This is the Pfister Hotel. Is that how you pronounce it? And it's been rumored to be haunted. Now, that's the hotel that the players stay at when they are in Milwaukee. And so he says here, it was a good excuse to not stay there. So he ended up getting an Airbnb instead because he's heard so many stories about, you know, players just getting spooked, no pun intended, about like possible ghosts in this hotel. I don't know why they're staying at this hotel. Like there's no other hotels they can stay at. I don't get it. But he goes on to say here that he's just he's not a believer in ghosts, but he's just not comfortable with the idea. I'll be honest with you. If someone told me that it was like a haunted hotel, I'd be like, I don't know. Like even if I don't believe in ghosts, I'm still thinking about it, right? And I don't want my, you know, hey, I'm a Major League Baseball player. I'm looking to get some good sleep, you know, and I don't want to be having something like that keeping me up because you start to listen in on all these different little noises at that point. Or you hear like a pipe creak or something, and you're like, okay, I'm out of here. Nope, not doing it. Anyway, he just says here, you can tell me what happened after. I just don't want to find out myself. So they do have the reputation. Giancarlo Stanton back in 2013, he said, it's freaky as bleep. Not going to say the word. This is a family-friendly show. And he says that the headshot paintings on the walls and the old curtains everywhere. It reminds me of the Disneyland haunted house. The less time I'm there, the better. It's like, what kind of hotel is this? Like, why are I don't know, man. This is just weird. Bryce Harper, when he was with the Nationals, he was there, and he says here, I laid a pair of jeans and a shirt on the table at the foot of the bed. When I woke up in the morning, I swear on everything, the clothes were on the floor and the table was on the opposite side of the room. That's hilarious. My goodness. I really hope one of the players just like snuck in and just did that. Whatever. Michael Young, former infielder with the Rangers, said that he had heard footsteps in his room. Man, forget this. I wouldn't stay there either. I wouldn't. I'd totally be with Mookie. I'd totally get the best Airbnb I could get. You know, just whatever. Like, rent a car. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Mookie Betts, he could get, with the money that he's making, he could get the most top-of-the-line Airbnb possible. I would love to actually see what that Airbnb would look like. So, either way, hey, Mookie Betts, he's afraid of ghosts. I mean, hey, I would be too. I would absolutely be afraid of ghosts. My goodness. But here we go, everyone. And actually, really quick, let's just take a look at Mookie's stats. I mean, actually, the batting average is a little low. It's 246 so far this year, but the 348 on base, still pretty solid. The slugging is at a 471. He's not off to an amazing start this year. But I feel like Mookie, eventually, you're going to see that. Last year, the batting average, the last 2 years, his batting average was in the 260s. So I would imagine he's going to get it back up around there. That slugging is going to still be near around 500. His on base is still looking all right. So, yeah, Mookie Betts. I think he knows he needs to get that batting average up a little bit, so he can't afford to be hanging out with any ghosts during this time. All right, everyone. That is pretty much the news for right now. So just going over some scores here. Minnesota beating the Padres here today. The Rays just closing out a win against the Yankees in the Bronx, a final of 8-2. The Royals winning on a walk-off bunt today. And the White Sox, they continue to just not be able to get on track here. 13 games under 500. So, hey, I mean, look at the Padres as well. They're at 500 right now, 19-19. The Mets are 18-20. 3 teams right there that are just... The White Sox are off to a terrible start, but the Mets, the Padres, they're sluggish. I don't know, man. I don't know. Kind of not expected here. Not expected here at this point in the year, especially the Padres and the Mets. So, I don't know. All right, everyone. Let's get to it here. We got some hot takes to talk about. But before I do talk about some hot takes, I just want to go over our partnership with Sorare MLB. We have 2 tournaments every single week. And tonight's tournament, it was still going on right now. It's the last night. So I'm going to go over my lineup for tomorrow. Everyone, I'm telling you, this is easily one of the most fun ways to play fantasy baseball. You collect cards. They're your cards. They're yours to keep. So that's what makes it cool. I've said this many times. It just reminds me of when I was a kid and I was collecting cards. But the cool thing is that these cards are actually your team. So for next week, I have 2 tournaments. I'm going to be going with Julio Urias and Drew Smith as my pitchers. And my hitters, I'm going to be going with Torkelson, Volpe, Sawinski. And then my flex players, I'm going with Austin Hayes and Dustin May. So this is actually my secondary team. I'm going to be having them play in the minors. And then for the common all-star tournament, I'm a little beefier with this lineup. So McClanahan is my starter. I got Alvarado as my reliever. We got Nate Lowe, Bogarts, and Yoshida as my batters. And my 2 flex players, I'm going to go with Trey Turner and Chris Sale. Chris Sale's been looking pretty good lately. I'm going to ride the hot hand with him. Trey Turner starting to heat up a little bit. So we'll have to see how I do. But overall, pretty excited about this upcoming tournament. Click the description. I can't talk. Click the link in the description. Go draft your team. You have about, what is it, a little under 24 hours here. You're at 20 hours at the moment. So click the link in the description. Go ahead, draft your team, and see if you beat me this weekend. So, but also stay tuned for this weekend. I do have an announcement with Sorare MLB. I'm telling you, you're going to want to hear this announcement because there's prizes involved. There are prizes involved. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. I'll talk about it on Sunday. So be here for power rankings. I'll talk about it then. Here we go, everyone. We got some hot takes to talk about. And we had a few good ones here tonight. A few good ones. I'm going to start off with the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Tigers, not a whole lot of expectations coming into this season because last year they just completely fell off the face of the planet. Really struggled last year after a pretty decent 2021 season where they exceeded expectations. But the Tigers this year, it looks like they're slowly starting to pick up some steam, and we got a hot take about it. From Colton Hullinger, his hot take: the Tigers finish second in the division. He's a Guardians fan, so he hates saying this. Now, if you're finishing second in the division, I mean, I'm gonna be honest here. I know it's the Central, but that could possibly put you in the picture for a possible wild card spot. Could the Tigers actually make the playoffs this year? Right now, they are 17-19. They're 3 games back in the division behind the Twins, who just actually I just updated this. So even with the Twins win today, Detroit's still only 3 back, and they're 3.5 back in the wild card. They're playing pretty good baseball lately. They're 7-3 in their last 10. So let's go take a look here at this Tigers team. Honestly, like, they've been pretty fun to watch lately. You know, you got these young guys like Spencer Torkelson. You got Riley Green there. Man, you got Eduardo Rodriguez, who's just pitching out of his mind lately. Eduardo Rodriguez is right now one of the best pitchers in the game. He has just been nasty for them. Now, they are going to need some of these other starters to pick it up. Like, I'm not a huge fan. You know, Lorenzen, he was okay. He's been okay recently. You know, you got Faedo, you got Wentz in there, you know, Boyd. I don't know. I guess I'm not the biggest fan of this rotation. Now, where is Spencer Turnbull? What happened to Turnbull? Is he on the IL? Matt Manning's on the IL. Where's Turnbull? I don't know what happened to Turnbull. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but I would like for the Tigers to add something to this rotation. Oh, that's right. He is in AAA. He did go back. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Killer. Thank you for that. I completely forgot about that. But either way, starting pitching, I do think they are going to need an upgrade. I just don't think this rotation is going to be able to hang. They're going to need something. Now, the lineup, listen, I like some of these guys. You know, I think Torkelson, this guy, it looks like he has finally maybe figured it out a little bit. He's been hitting really well lately. He's been hitting for some power too. Riley Green's been going pretty crazy lately. Javier Baez really slumped to begin the year. I did a video on most disappointing players. I may have done that a little too early, but what can you do? I'll have to maybe do it again. But Javier Baez, he's been hitting really well lately. You know, I'm just saying, I think this lineup, it's not the best out there, but you know, if you got these guys doing enough, you know, sure, I think they can keep you in the game. The bullpen, you know, Alex Lang has actually been pretty decent at the back end for the Tigers. Again, though, I don't know about this pitching. I don't know. Like, I'm not very high on it. Sure, you got a couple of good pieces in here, but I don't know. I just wonder if I don't think they have the depth to get it done. I personally, I'm gonna say no on them making the playoffs. Could they finish second? You know, the hot take, it did say that they would finish second. Could they? I mean, that would be crazy, considering the Guardians had a lot of hype this year. I thought that, for me personally, I didn't have the Guardians making the playoffs, and a lot of people did. So, I don't know, could they heat up at some point? The Guardians, they've been, in my opinion, when you look at some of their numbers, their offense has been really bad. The pitching is good, but the offense scares me a little bit. The bullpen has been fine, but it hasn't been the bullpen that it was last year. So the Guardians, they worry me a little bit. I think they're going to be there. They're going to be hanging around. But I think the Tigers can easily be hanging around in this picture. Now, are they going to make the playoffs? I don't know about that. I don't know. Could they finish second? I think they have a chance. I'll tell you, I was talking with Mike of Stark Raving Sports. I think I mentioned this the other night as well. So now I'm just remembering it again. But we were talking, and I'm saying, hey, you know what team could be pretty decent this year? The Detroit Tigers. Now, he was a little skeptical of that one, but I'm thinking, you know what? When I think of this Tigers team, they do have these young players who are probably going to be better than what they were last year. I would think Baez is probably going to be better than what he was last year, and it looks like he's starting to pick it up a little bit. Eduardo Rodriguez, I love me some Erod, always did. I know what he can bring to the table, and I knew that they were having some other guys, coming in for the rotation. I would think Turnbull's going to come back eventually. I don't know. I didn't, sure, it was a disappointing year last year. A lot of people thought they were really going to take that next step, and they didn't. They took a step back. But, I think they were kind of under the radar coming in this year. I'm not saying they're a good team, but I wouldn't write them off. I think they have pieces there that are pretty fun. So for the Tigers, yeah, I think they have a shot at it. I don't think, but now here's the thing. Second place in the AL Central, what is that actually going to end up being? I mean, right now, you only have one team over 500 in this division. So we'll just have to wait and see how this really ends up, what's going to end up happening here. So I say check back. Probably around the All-Star break, we'll have a really good idea of what this division is. It's just, to me, could the White Sox get really hot, maybe close in within 500? Could Cleveland just start going nuts? I mean, could the Tigers just keep on rolling? But right now, it's looking like the Twins division to lose, in my opinion, because that pitching is so good with the Twins. The Twins are really the only, as of right now, the only good team as a whole for this whole season. They're the only team in this division over 500. They're the only team in this division with a plus run differential. So, I don't know. Right now, sure, I'll buy it. I think they could finish second. Will they make the playoffs? I don't know about that. I don't know. But if we take a look at some of the rankings here, let's take a look. Where are the Tigers ranking in terms of offense? Let's see. Well, those are player stats. Let's go to team stats here on Fangraphs. So the Tigers, well, the Rays are leading it. The Rays offense was just, oh my goodness, that Rays offense, that first couple of weeks, first few weeks of the season was just so insane. So they just built this huge lead. Now, if you go to the last 14 days, I mean, look at that. They're ahead in offense by almost 50 points. But if you go to the last couple of weeks, I mean, you got, the Red Sox, even the Royals offense has been really hot. The Diamondbacks, I mean, so that's a lot closer in the last couple of weeks. That Rays offense was just so nasty. In the last 7 days, actually, in the last 7 days, the Royals have the best offense. Oakland at number 2. That's hilarious. The Yankees at 3. So, anyway, let's go to the full season stats. And let's see where the Tigers are ranking. So, come on, Fangraphs, you're killing me. All right, so Detroit on the year, they're not good. They're 27th in offense. Again, I said I like a few of the pieces in the lineup. I'm not the biggest fan of the lineup, but I like Torkelson and Riley Green. If Baez can just do something, that's only going to help. It's not the best lineup, but let's actually see how they've been doing over the last 7 days. Again, they've been playing really well. 7-3 in their last 10. So, Detroit lately, they're hitting better lately. They're 11th in WRC plus over the last 7 days. So, have to wait and see. As for the pitching, right now on the year, Detroit is 28th in pitching altogether. So that's not inspiring. For the starting pitching, they are 23rd, and that includes Eduardo Rodriguez. Imagine if they didn't have Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, they'd probably be dead last. But let's check it out in the last 7. So Detroit is 6 overall. Over the last 7 games, they have a 2.72 ERA, a 3.85 FIP. So lately, the Tigers, they're definitely turning the page, right? They're turning a corner. So the first, few weeks of the season there, they were looking really abysmal, but the numbers are a lot better recently. So as for the bullpen over the last 7, that bullpen needs to, the ERA looks okay. A 3.32 ERA over the last 7, but a 4.52 FIP and a 4.91 xFIP. So the bullpen is definitely not looking good projection-wise. They're getting it done now. I don't know, but that worries me a little bit. So again, I think the offense, it's okay. It's not going to be the best. The starting pitching, that's one thing they do have. They do have an ace right now in Erod. So at least they have that. And the bullpen, a couple of good pieces. I just don't think the Tigers have enough, to really make the playoffs. There's too much beef in this American League. I think they're a year away, a year or two. The one good thing they have going for them, they got young talent there. I feel like they're going to need to go out this offseason. They're going to have to add some pieces. They're going to have to add some free agents, maybe make a trade. But I think the Tigers are at least a year away. I feel like they're not ready yet. I don't know. This is good. This is May 11th here. So who knows? Maybe 2 weeks from now, they've won like 10 straight games, and they're in first place. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But let's get to the next hot take. And since we're talking about the playoffs, we got a team here that I think a lot of people, mostly I would think, unless you're a complete hater of the team, I think everyone had this team making the playoffs, and they're off to a sluggish start. We got Dylan here on Twitter. He said here, the Mets don't make the playoffs. Man, oh man, could you imagine? I just want you all to imagine this. Close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes and imagine the Mets not making the playoffs. Keep those eyes closed. Just imagine. And when you open, when I tell you to open your eyes, I'm gonna have something for you to look at. Okay, make sure the eyes are closed. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Open your eyes. Could you imagine the Mets not making the playoffs with this payroll? That is absolutely insane. That would be, I think, one of the biggest sports. I'm not saying baseball. I'm saying in all of sports. That would be one of the biggest sports failures of all time. To not make the playoffs with this payroll? Come on. Dulcie Maris, no, you can't do that, man. He says here, I thought you were going to show us the tears of Mets fans. I can feel the tears just by looking at this screen. Wonder Davey, we got a super chat coming in. That's similar to my hot take. What was yours? I can't remember what yours was. We had a few Mets ones. The Mets are a hot commodity for hot takes right now. Wonder Davey, thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. I greatly appreciate you. Longtime supporter of the channel. But wow, if the Mets don't make the playoffs, that'd be legendary in the worst way. How awful would that be? But I mean, they're really struggling right now. They're not playing great. I think they're going to be okay. If we look at the standings right now, the thing they have going for them, the thing that's on their side is they are in a National League right now that a lot of teams, there's not a lot of separation in the National League. So they have that on their side. So now if you look at the wild card picture, it's early, but if you look at the wild card picture in the American League, you only have 3 teams within 2 games, right? You got the Mariners and the Tigers within 3.5. But then when you look at the National League, you have now, look at the Rockies. The Rockies are 3 games back. I mean, my goodness. You got 4 teams right now. You got the Diamondbacks, the Brewers that are tied. The Marlins and the Padres are tied. It's a mess. The National League is a mess right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 11 teams right now. Every team is within 6 games. That's crazy. The Cardinals are 6 games back in the wild card with a record of 13-25. So the Mets are very lucky that the National League as a whole is not doing very well. So to me, I think the talent that this Mets team has, I don't know. I think they're going to end up being okay. You just got Verlander back, and Verlander actually had a pretty good start. I believe it was yesterday. Looked really good yesterday. So let's actually pull up Verlander. He looked awesome. Man, oh man. So he only allowed 1 run, 2 hits over 7 innings. He looked great. I think that's going to be that's going to be a huge boost for this rotation moving forward. Scherzer, I think, I don't know, like the fact that we're seeing an improvement with the neck, I think he's on track to get himself right. I mean, in all honesty, with Scherzer, it's like, I think if you have him for the second half of the season, honestly, I would be okay with that. Like, I mean, just get through the first half of the season, just be there, and the Mets, I think, just go on a run in the second half. I think the Mets are easily set up for that, especially if they can go make a trade. Like, if they can go make a couple of trades to really, beef up that team, I think the Mets are primed for a great second half, right? Verlander, kind of get him through May, get him through June. I think, that's going to be, and especially as the weather warms up, I think that's going to be great for Verlander and great for Scherzer. The warmer weather is going to be huge, right, for these guys. They're not getting any younger over here. So I think Scherzer, he's going to end up being okay. Who knows? He could end up having a couple of little things going on, as the season goes on. That's just Scherzer. I think if you can get at least, if you can get 15, 20 starts out of Scherzer consistently in the second half, I'd be okay with that, right? 15. I think if you can get 15 in the second half and he's completely healthy going into the playoffs, I think that would be massive. So, Wonder Davey, $5 super chat. It was they get hot but collapse and fail to make the playoffs. I did think they would make the playoffs before the season started as a Yankee fan. So you're saying here they get hot, but then they collapse. I mean, who knows? Anything's possible with this Mets team. Could you imagine that? That would be a story for years to come, man. That would be one of the biggest letdowns, the biggest failures in Major League Baseball history, in sports history. I really think that. Jacob Passini, how you doing? Mets trade for Jordan Montgomery or Lucas Giolito. Lucas Giolito would be huge. Not to mention Quintana. I was going to mention that. Will be coming back right before the second half. So the last thing I had heard about Quintana, I saw that there was like maybe even a possibility that he could miss more time. I don't know what was going on there. Let me click out of some of these tabs. Too many tabs open. I gotta click out of these tabs. Where were we? Mets. Where'd the Mets go? Well, I clicked out of the Mets. So here we go. So that's another great point that you make. The Mets right now they have injuries, right? I've mentioned Scherzer. Again, I think if you can get at least 15 good starts down the stretch and he's healthy going into the playoffs, I'd take that easily over a 30-start season and he's got a dead arm in the playoffs. Like, I'd rather have Scherzer just be fresh in the second half. But you are going to get Quintana back. That's going to be some good depth. Now, Carrasco, he had the bone chips. So, I mean, he's going to be coming back soon. So, that's good. And then Quintana, what's the latest on him? So, the latest on him, it was a couple of weeks ago. He played catch. So, yeah. I think the Mets are going to be fine. I think they're really going to be built for the second half. They're going to have the depth. Hopefully Scherzer's fine. I feel like Verlander is going to be fine. I mean, he looked so good yesterday. He just looked very loose out there too. I don't know. I do think that the one thing the Mets, I've said this like a million times, they need to add offense in some way. I'm sorry, but like I think you need to add a bat instead of Vogelbach. Marte is really struggling right now. He is not having a good season. Kana is really not having a good season. I think if you can add one more bat, have Marte and Kana be at the bottom of this order, take pressure off of them, I think that's going to be huge. Lindor, Lindor's bat isn't fully there yet. Alonso has been really good this year. McNeil's been solid. He's been struggling a little lately. I think the Mets are going to be fine. I don't know. I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if they missed the playoffs. It's so far away, but, Senga actually didn't look great today. Let's actually go take a look at that. Senga did not go deep into that game today. I think he went... How many innings did he even go? Was it even 2 innings? I know it wasn't very long. How about the Reds as well? I mean, let's give some love to the Reds. They're pesky. They got some bats in there. They're not a lineup. Sure, are they going to be a playoff team this year? No. But, man, it's like an annoying lineup. They got guys in here that just have good at-bats. Oh, yeah, he did go. Okay, he went 5 innings. I don't know why. I was thinking he only went like 2 innings. But he didn't pitch well. He went 5 innings, 5 earned. He struck out 7. It just wasn't a great start today. But like I said, I'd honestly give credit to this Reds lineup. This Reds lineup is annoying. I mean, look at this Reds lineup. You got guys in here that are having some really good seasons. India, Friedel, over an 800 OPS between the two. Spencer Steer has been pretty solid. Fraley, he's been all right. It's not a bad lineup. It's not the best. It's not bad. CRaz951, how you doing? Do you see the Dodgers trading for Tim Anderson? I don't know. It's funny because I was looking at Tim Anderson the other day. And his stats aren't looking amazing. I feel like he's not... I can't remember the numbers exactly. But I feel like he's hitting under 260. The on-base isn't very good. He's hitting 266, a 318 on base, an 82 WRC+. I mean, is he really helping your lineup right now? I think he's going to have to show something. I mean, why would anyone want to have this guy on your... I mean, yeah, you know what he can do. But right now, he's not having a great season. So his value is definitely not very good right now. So, he's going to have to pick it up. So, but let's say he is hitting well. Could the Dodgers do it? I mean, if we're looking at the Dodgers, what happened to the Mookie Betts experiment? I thought Mookie Betts was going to be the next great shortstop. I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, sure. Possibly. You'd have the club option for next year. That's not a bad idea. It's not bad. I don't know. With Rojas, I love the glove. I like that he just has I love good defense up the middle. Shortstop, second base, center field, catcher. If you have strong defense up the middle, I'm a fan of that. So, I'm a fan of that. Derek Gutierrez, how you doing? You say here, when are you going to show the Marlins some love? I was just all over Yuri Perez earlier. I mean, I'm really excited about that. I was telling everyone here that it is must-watch TV for tomorrow. Yuri Perez's Major League debut. I mean, come on, everyone. You got to watch that tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be watching. First off, I want to just see how massive the guy is on the mound. He's 6'8". It's freaking nuts. That in itself is entertainment. But I'm excited for that one. Anyway, Tim Anderson for the Dodgers? Probably not. I think they have enough bats in this lineup. You got Betts, Freeman. Obviously, Muncy and Outman have been going crazy this year. I like the glove with Rojas. Kind of move guys around. You can have someone play short another day. Don't forget, you still have Chris Taylor here. Mookie can go play some short at times. So, CRaz951, thank you for being a member for the 14th straight month. So, Derek, how good do you think Yuri Perez could be for us? What's one player you could see him being comparable to? Well, he has the size of Randy Johnson, right? Randy Johnson. Now, is he going to be like Randy Johnson? I don't know. But Randy Johnson, he was 6'10". I'm trying to think of another guy that's even that's that height. I don't know. But this guy has a big fastball. He's got a nasty changeup. He's got a good slider, good curveball. He's got good control. I don't want to sit here and compare him to Randy Johnson. Also, Randy Johnson's from the left side. So, but he has that height. Could he be something like this? I don't know. I don't think that's very fair to compare him to a legend like Randy Johnson. But I think Yuri Perez, the fact that he's that big and he's got that good of stuff and that good of control and command, I don't know. Combine the size, he could be nasty. So, all right, where were we? So, the Mets, getting back to this hot take. Will the Mets miss the playoffs? I think right now, with the way this National League is looking, I don't know, man. I just think they're going to make it. I think there's too much talent. Talent wins out. The New York teams, when they're not doing well, people love to just jump on them. I think the Mets, they're going to be having guys coming back. You're going to have Carrasco back eventually. You're going to have Quintana back eventually. Verlander's looking like he's settling in. Scherzer, I think, will be okay. They're going to need a bat. That is something they will have to address. They do need to add something there. So, hey, who knows? Maybe if the Angels completely fall out of it, listen, I'm just saying. Shohei Ohtani would be the perfect addition. He'd be perfect because they could use another arm. Why not? Just in case if Scherzer gets hurt, right? Verlander is, 40 years old. Quintana, Carrasco, they got some injuries. If the Angels fall out of it completely, Ohtani is... I made a short about this. Ohtani would be perfect for every team out there. Well, maybe not every team. Right? Like the Reds obviously wouldn't trade for Ohtani. But when it comes to a team that has playoff aspirations and they have money, Ohtani makes so much sense for the Mets because they need a bat. They could use another pitcher just in case. He makes a ton of sense for the Mets. If the Angels fall out of it, that to me, I think the Mets would totally pull the trigger on Shohei Ohtani, even if it's just for half a season. I totally think they would do it. Why wouldn't you? He's perfect for them. He's perfect for a lot of teams, but for what the Mets need, it checks off two things that they really need. Other teams would love to have him, but based off of need, I think the Mets need him the most this year. Right? Next year, that's a different story, but for this year, oof, perfect addition. Perfect addition. Now, it's way too early, but the Angels, they're 20-18 right now. I don't know. I think if the Angels are like 5 out by that time, I think they should trade him, to be honest. So let's move on here. Let's move on. We got a few more hot takes to talk about. I mean, you know what? Speaking of Ohtani, let's talk about Ohtani. He wasn't going to be my next one here, but I do have a hot take about Ohtani. He was the MVP pick for a lot of people this year, but this man, Jake from I can't. Jake from Farm State. I love those commercials, man. Can we bring those commercials back? Jake from Farm State. I'm just going to say Jake from State Farm. I mean, come on. Shohei doesn't win the MVP. Now, I think this is a good time to go take a look at what's going on in Major League Baseball. Let's take a look at the leaderboards. Here we go. Taking a look. So, right now, I would think for the American League, Franco, I know he's the leader here, right now. Well, let's see. Ohtani right now, he is, let's pull him up. So Ohtani, we have to look at obviously the offense and the pitching. So we got to look at his combined Fangraph WAR. So offensively, he has a 0.9. And for the pitching, he has a 1.1. So he's at a 2 Fangraph WAR. So actually, he is not even in the lead right now. So Franco right now is the leader. I mean, I think with the season that Franco's having right now, he's playing great defense. The bat is looking awesome. He's got 11 stolen bases. I think Franco right now, man, he's right now, the way he's playing, I think you got to say Franco's the favorite, right? But don't count out someone like Randy Rosarina. Rosarina, man, I mean, this is... It's funny because I have another hot take about the Rays here in a little bit, but that's crazy. Right now, offensively, the Rays have 3 of the top 6 players offensively. Yandy Diaz, Randy Rosarina, and Franco. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. But, obviously Chapman, he's been hitting really well. Will he keep that up? I mean, that batting average has been steadily dropping, but I don't know. He's been pretty solid so far. I would imagine he's eventually he's coming back down to earth. When it comes to for the duration of the whole season, right now my favorite is Franco. Just with how he's playing. He's just playing all around good baseball. He's hitting. He's playing great defense. He's stealing bases. I think the favorite has to be him. All right. Ohtani, the one thing Ohtani is going to always have, he's obviously going to have the bat and being on the mound. He's always going to have that. So people are automatically by default going to just look at that with Ohtani. You got to remember, it's not about who's the best. It's about who gets the most votes. I know that sounds very simplistic, duh, Robbie, of course. But no, what I mean is these guys that vote, they're looking at different things. It's not, there's been many times the best player that should have won the MVP award did not win the MVP. So if Ohtani, I think if Ohtani is here's the thing last year with Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, to beat Ohtani in the MVP race, he had to have a season for the ages. Ohtani was extremely good last year, and Judge had to go crazy and make history just to beat him. So this year, I think it's going to be neck and neck. Honestly, I mean, remember we just said could maybe the Mets jump on Ohtani at the deadline if the Angels are out of it. Well, then that would take him out of it completely. He would be in the National League, right? Let's say the Dodgers traded for Ohtani. He'd be in the National League, all right? So Franco, in my opinion, I think Franco right now is I think he's the favorite. So let's actually go to Baseball Reference, because Baseball Reference wins above replacement is different. So let's go take a look. Who is leading in B WAR right now? I know Garrett Cole at one point was leading all of Major League Baseball. Baseball Reference, here it is. Okay, so, I mean, Ohtani right now and Franco are tied. So that's pretty much right in line with what I was just saying. They're neck and neck. So they are tied for wins above replacement. Acuna is right behind. So, hey, man, Ronald Acuna, man, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little grumpy with you, man. I picked you to win the MVP 2 years ago. And come on, man. Come on. Anyway, but it's going to be neck and neck with these guys. Now, if you're to make me throw money down, I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't know what the Angels are going to be. He could be a trade candidate. And if he gets traded to the National League, well, then he's out of it. But if he stays in the American League, I mean, I think the money has to be on Ohtani, just because he can obviously hit and pitch. Franco is playing really well. So, I don't know. I think if they're tied, let's say they're tied, right? Let's say they have the same wins above replacement. I think the edge would go to Ohtani because he does both. So, I don't know. But Franco, he's looking great right now. He's looking great. So, let's get to this next hot take. This leads perfectly since we're already talking about Wander Franco. This is from It's Cat, and he's in the chat right now. Hot take. Rays have a player or manager on their team win top 3 in each the Cy Young Award, Rookie of the Year Award, MVP Award, and Manager of the Year Award. Like, come on. This is dumb. My goodness. And it's really not, it doesn't sound as far-fetched as it might seem. Let's take a look. I mean, look. When you look here, Wander Franco is, like I just said, he's easily a candidate for the MVP. If you are looking at the pitching leaderboards, now, you know what? I'm actually going to go to Baseball Reference, because I think when it comes to the voting, voters will look more at like the Baseball Reference numbers, like ERA. They'll look at WHIP. They'll look at strikeouts. While Fangraphs, they're looking more. They look at projections as well, right? They look at FIP. They look at XFIP. They look at Sierra. You know, you're looking at stats like that. But when it comes to voting, you are going to be just looking at the more traditional stats for pitching. So let's see the pitching leaders right now. So if we were to just go to wins above for play, and McClanahan right now, he's in that conversation, a 1.7 Baseball Reference WAR. So McClanahan's definitely going to be a candidate. Manager of the Year. I mean, obviously Kevin Cash, with what the Rays are doing right now, they're already at 30 wins. Kevin Cash will clearly be a candidate if they continue on this pace. But now you're probably thinking, well, who would the rookie be? Well, who would the rookie be? Well, they actually do have a rookie right now atop the leaderboards on Fangraphs. You got Luke Raley. I mean, right now, you got Outman in the National League. He is running away with that Rookie of the Year award. But right now, you have Ryan Noda with the A's. and you got Luke Raley with the Rays. You got Volpe, but Volpe's really going to have to improve on his numbers. He's only hitting 205. He's got 11 stolen bases, but he's got a 300 on base. I mean, these numbers aren't very good with Volpe, but Raley, he's hitting 262. He's got a decent on base at 323. He's got 8 home runs. So the home runs, hey, the voters love the home runs. So I think right now, I totally buy this take. I think, will easily have a shot at having a top 3 MVP, a top 3 Cy Young, a top 3 Rookie of the Year. I like Luke Raley. Luke Raley is a guy to keep your eye on. This is a pretty decent prospect for the Rays over the last couple of years. And then obviously Kevin Cash. I mean, they're winning every single game, it seems like. So, of course, I definitely buy that hot take. I think that's a good one. That's actually I don't think people realize. I mean, obviously the Rays are really good, but I don't think people realize like all these different categories where they could have. Could you imagine if they win out of the awards? I know you've had players. Have you had an MVP and a Cy Young on the same team? I don't know. I feel like there has been. I don't know. Have you? Who? I feel like there's been at least a couple. I don't know. I can't remember. Gabe Hunkin, how you doing, my friend? Casey Schmidt will throw his hat into the ring for Rookie of the Year. Well, you know what? Casey Schmidt homered the other night in his debut. That's fun. Casey Schmidt, I think this guy's going to be a really solid player for the Giants. So what I like about Schmidt is he can already just play a bunch of different positions. So he can play third, short, second. So that's already great for him to get some playing time. So he's got that going for him. It's a guy with just a solid bat. He just seems like he's going to be a really solid player for the Giants. Will he get Rookie of the Year? I don't know, man. Dude, Outman is looking so good. I know it's May. There's a lot of time. But, man, Outman's going to be tough to beat. And you also got Corbin Carroll out there, too. I don't know. I think Schmidt is going to be really solid. I think he's going to be a really good piece for the Giants this year. I think he could be in that conversation. Will he win out? I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll probably sell on him winning the award. But, sure. Like you said, could he throw his hat into the ring? Why not? I mean, I like Casey Schmidt. I think he's one of those. He wasn't a top 100 prospect, but he's just one of those solid prospects. Like, he's obviously a top 5 for the Giants. But just kind of like one of those under the radar prospects that are just really good for you, right? That's just going to make your team just better in so many ways, not just with the stat line, but he has that versatility as well. Yeah, I like him. I like Casey Schmidt. So thank you for the $5 super chat, Gabe Hunkin. I appreciate that, my friend. So yeah, okay. Do I have some answers in the chat here? Did Dwight Gooden win both? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, different. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I know, like, guys have won the MVP, right, and the Cy Young, but I mean, like, 2 different players, like, on the same team, right? So, yeah, Miguel Tejada, Barry Zito. Yep, that was one. And then, did Max Scherzer win the Cy Young in 2013? Well, he was stupid good that year. I was scared to death of going up against the Tigers in that championship series. Did he win the Cy Young that year? He did. He did win the Cy Young. Yep. Yeah, that's another one. So it doesn't happen very often. Anyway, let's move on. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I went completely blank on that one. Let's go to the next hot take. Alrighty, so we talked the Tigers, we talked the Mets, we talked the Rays, we talked Ohtani. We got one more. It was in the thumbnail. Pretty interesting one. From Explosive, Juan Soto is slowly becoming the most overrated player in baseball. Man, that is hot. We're ending this on just the hottest of takes. Man. All right, so once again, Juan Soto, he is off to a slow start, right? But this dude is heating up. My goodness. Look at that. Like, so remember when we looked, his batting average was like under 200 at one point. It was under the Mendoza line. But now it's at 246. His on base is at 406. His slugging was in the mid threes at one point. Now it's up to a 454. WRC plus is at a 139. He's hitting home runs lately. If we look at the advanced numbers, it's still all reds. I mean, goodness. Now, the one thing is he has been striking out a bit, but he's still, we're not used to these kind of numbers, right? When we look at the strikeouts from last year and the whiffs, it was way better. So he is definitely striking out more and swinging and missing more, but you're still looking really good with the average exit velocity, the expected numbers, the barrels. He still walks it. Yeah, sure, he's striking out more, but he's still walking a ton. Juan Soto has been historically a slow starter. I just want to keep that in mind. So if we go here to the months, actually, I think I passed it. Let's go to months. Here we go. So in the month of April in his career, he's been a 240 hitter, which right now his average is at 246. We just turned to May, so that's right in line. A 385 on base. That's still really good. But the 435 slugging, that's right in line with where he's been at. So he's really doing nothing different than what he's done in just his entire career. He's always been a slow starter. In the month of May, now, if we were to take a look at his numbers right now in the month of May. So right now through this month, he is hitting 387. He's got a homer, which he just homered the other day. He's got 8 walks and only 5 strikeouts. He still had 27 walks in April. Like, that's so many walks. But yeah, these numbers are right in line. Like, he's really picking it up now. So I knew this was going to happen. Like, people were like, saying, "Oh my goodness, Juan Soto, such a disappointment." This is just who he is. He's always been this way. This is for his whole career. June, the batting average has dipped a little bit, but his on base has always been in the 4s. Now, the month of July and then August, this is where he is like the most scary. So we're still a ways away from where he's historically been just amazing. In the month of August, he's got 32 home runs in his career. I mean, my goodness. Wait till we get to July and August. I guarantee you this guy's going to be going off. So, I have to sell this one. I think it's easy to jump on him more so right now just because he turned down like the huge contract. So he kind of just put more pressure on himself by doing that. So I think with the slow start, by turning down that money, he put a huge target on his back, right? Because now people are like, all right, you think you're worth more than what you turned down of over $400 million? Well, okay, now we're really going to see what you can do. So he did that to himself, but whatever. This guy, listen, the numbers are not quite there yet, but when you just watch him, he is just something else. He's something else. The patience that he has at the plate, the amount of he's like easily, you could argue he's the toughest at bat in Major League Baseball. He's easily one of the toughest at bats. So, man, I just remember watching him in that 2019 postseason in that World Series. I know the shuffle was like kind of a big thing, but dude, it was just so insane. Like watching him at that age. That was just like nuts. Like to me, he was looking like he had been there for 10 years, right? It was just crazy. Like that coming out party for him that year, that was just nuts, man. But he was my MVP pick for this year. So we're just going to have to wait and see what he ends up finishing with. But no, I don't think he's overrated. He's always been a slow starter. I have to sell on that one. This guy's going to end up being one of the best players in the game by the end of the season, right? Or one of the best this season, I mean, when it comes to the numbers. He is one of the best players in the game, but he will be up there on the leaderboards. Guarantee. You know, sure, you got someone like Ronald Acuna Jr. who's off to a really hot start. But remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I think Juan Soto, in the end, I think he will be at least a top 3 MVP candidate. He'll be in the 3 finalists for the MVP, in my opinion. So, Pierce Gilbert, the 67 Red Sox. Oh, yeah, Yastrzemski and Lonborg. Wow, I haven't seen that name in a long time. Jim Lonborg. I mean, I obviously never watched Jim Lonborg, but I remember seeing his name. Yeah. Won the Cy Young in his 3rd season. 1967. Man, he had 246 strikeouts that year. Crazy, man. 22-9 that year. ERA of a 3.16. Man, oh man. That 67 Red Sox team, man. That was the impossible dream Red Sox. Losing in Game 7 to the Cardinals. You're going up against Bob Gibson that year. Let's look at that Cardinals team. He only had a 2.7 WAR that year. Man. You got Orlando Cepeda, Tim McCarver, Lou Brock, Kurt Flood, Dick Hughes. Man. Look at that. Roger Maris on the St. Louis Cardinals that year. What in the world? My goodness. Anyway. But, yeah, Steve Carlton was on that team. Man, oh, man. But the Red Sox were close to ending the curse that year because couldn't quite get it done. Anyway, everyone, I'm out of here. I'm going to wrap things up here. Don't forget about our sponsor for tonight's show, Sorare MLB. Again, tournament is starting tomorrow for the weekend. Go draft your team if you have not already. It's completely free to play, by the way. I don't know if I forgot to mention that. It's completely free. So just click the link in the description down below. Everyone, help us out. Hit that like button for us. That's all I ask for when it comes to these streams. If you can just tap that like button or just smash it, whatever the heck you want to do. Hit the bell notification. That way you know I go live every single time. I'm going live this Sunday night for the Power Rankings, the weekly Power Rankings. So I hope you're all here on Sunday night. Share the stream as well. And like I said, don't forget about Sorare MLB, but also don't forget about BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Don't forget about SeatGeek. Use my code Hyde. You get $20 off. Everyone, want to thank you all for coming out for this week's edition of Hot Takes. Always really nice seeing all your friendly faces in the chat. Have yourself a good Friday tomorrow. I'll be back here Sunday. I'm going to try and upload a video possibly Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. I got some MLB The Show content cooking, everyone. I might be doing a how to fix a certain team, so be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. Everyone, have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Have a good weekend. And I'll talk to you next time.